Hi, I'm Mitch Gallagher. Welcome to the Sweetwater Minute. We are at GearFest 2016, and our good friend Carl Veryheyen is joining us.
Yeah,
Carl,
good to see you, Mitch.
Great to see you. Always a pleasure.
Man, good to be back.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've been keeping you busy.
Yeah.
You did a workshop yesterday, right?
No, it was this. Oh, yeah, I did an all-day workshop yesterday,
Yeah.
and it was a crazy thing. I was playing in Boston Wednesday night, and then I went to the corporate airport there, flew in a little private plane for 4 hours, past a gnarly thunderstorm, and landed at 3:30 in the morning, and was up by 7:15 for a all-day workshop. So my plan is I'm going to sleep when I'm dead.
And then you did a workshop this morning
Yeah,
as well.
we did a big one here for the sort of the concept of taking the music we recorded on the album, which has multiple overdubs and layers and textures and all that, and sort of how you take that and condense it down to something you can play live on the road.
Right.
So it was fun. It was kind of a challenge to go, you know, how do you describe how you do that? But I talked about the rig and how I have sort of this organic way of mixing amplifiers, you know, and so that there's no channel switching or cutoff or MIDI or anything, just overlapping sounds. And so we got into that a bit. It was pretty fun.
So the album is out, and you can actually download that from Sweetwater in two versions. There's
Right.
the standard version, if you will, which is CD quality, and then there's a deluxe version. Tell us about that.
Well, the special edition or deluxe version, what we decided to do, we decided to make it so that you get a high resolution version of the record. A lot of people are going that direction, you know. For my ears, CDs are fine, but the high res thing is something to hear, you know. You need a good converter to hear it over your speakers and not just play it through a computer, you know what I mean?
Right.
So there's that, but then I made a little video about sort of the main riff of some of the tunes, you know, and this is how I wrote it, this is how I was thinking, this is how I play it. And they're actually the 4 tunes that are in the documentary film, which we'll tell you about in a minute. When we were out here doing the record, my road manager rented a Mercedes Sprinter and pulled a trailer to bring all the amps and guitars. And the nice thing is we'd have him set stuff up. Like I say, okay, this song is going to be the old high watt, 100 watt through this 4x12 cabinet. And then this next part, I'm going to do it through a vibratone cabinet and the Dr. Z or a dual showman head or whatever. You know, in other words, we were constantly arranging these different sounds and textures to make them, you know, make the record bear repeated listening, as I say.
Yeah, right.
So the nice thing is the road manager wrote all that stuff down.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even ask him to, but boy, am I glad he did, because, you know, you forget what you played on this stuff. So he took copious notes of every guitar, every pedal, every amplifier, and every speaker cabinet, the whole signal chain. And if it was the rack that I was using, or a certain big pedal board or a smaller pedal board, he would only list the pedals that were on.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very cool because we included all that information with the special edition.
Right.
So people are going, hey, how did they get that sound? And what's that part? Oh, it's a Dane Electros through a Phase 90 through a Leslie, you know.
Right.
And crazy stuff like that. It's very cool for me too, because I go back 10 years from now and I'll go, wow, that was some of the sounds are what I call secret weapons.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a certain amp that if I play this Gretsch guitar through, it's going to sound monstrous and sustain as long as I want it to. So those are logged in my brain for years and years as little secret weapon sounds. This 54 Les Paul through a certain pedal, through a certain amp, sounds like that, and I need it for this sound. You know?
Right.
So that's kind of what we did. I mean, that's what we've got going in this special edition.
Right, and there's also the multi-track files for some of the songs too. So if you want to load them into Pro Tools or whatever DAW you're using, you can actually build your own mix and listen to the individual parts. It's really cool.
Yeah, and the guy yesterday that came to the workshop, who was a recording engineer, did it, and it was very interesting to hear what he did. First of all, he made the bass sound like Jack Bruce. He made the bass just this huge, gnarly, sort of distorted sound. And kick drum was right in there with it, and let's see, he did a little effect on the voice and stuff, but it was really exciting to hear somebody else's take on it.
So you alluded to the fact that there's a documentary about you, your career, and the recording of this album.
Yeah. So as we were making the record, somebody had the idea that this is a special album, and I was very flattered that they said, let's make a documentary of it. So they hired this guy, an old friend of mine named Nigel Dick, who has made you know, you've seen his videos and his movies and his documentaries for years, and he was in the 80s when it was all about MTV videos, right?
Right.
He was doing everybody from Madonna to Elton John to McCartney to everybody. His
Britney
list
Spears
of his list of credits goes on, and he's a really cool guy, English guy. So I called him up and said, "How would you like to do this?" And he cleared his schedule and did it. I think he does Nickelback videos these days. He's still doing a lot of that, and but he's a really good guy. I really dig him.
Right.
And so an award-winning documentarian. So he flew out here, and I think a few times, right? Videoed the sessions and videoed some of the overdub days, and then he went and interviewed a lot of other guitar players like Albert Lee and John Jorgensen and Sonny Landreth, who's on the record, and actually he interviewed Mitch.
That's right.
And Mitch had some terrible things to say about me.
You know, I tried to hold back.
Yeah. And you know, my connection with Supertramp, I've been playing in the band for 31 years now. So he went to England and interviewed John Helliwell over there. So, and this video, this documentary is about an hour long, but it's on YouTube. You can watch it for free. It's not something we're selling. So it's cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. Very, very educational to hear you talk about your approach to playing and some of the career things, and
cool.
to also see the progress on the album as you're working on some of the stuff. So.
And then a couple of solos are one take. Like Sonny Landreth played a solo on the song "Distracted Girl," and he just happened to have the tape rolling when he was playing it in the studio there, and you hear it go down and watch it go down. It's unbelievable just how great the guy is, and you go, "Oh, that's how he does that stuff." You know?
Well, yeah, I see him do it and say, "Well, that's how he does that stuff," but I can't be. Yeah. I don't know how he does that stuff, but that's how he does that
I've
stuff.
always been a big fan. We played together at this thing called the Copper Mountain Guitar Festival, and we met and a couple of years ago, and I said, "Hey, would you ever be interested in playing on one of my records?" And he goes, "Are you kidding? I'd love to." So I even wrote a tune with him in mind.
That's so cool.
So,
that's so cool. Yeah.
So,
Well, that's awesome. Given how busy you are, man, we appreciate you taking the time to talk with us today.
Yeah, very fun.
There's GearFest going on out there.
I know. I got to get out there and see what the gear is.
It's a beautiful day to be out wandering.
Yeah, it's the perfect day. This is my second GearFest, and the first time I came out here and played some stuff for Avid. They have this 11-rack thing that I was using. I use in my home studio, and that was fun. So, but I love GearFest because you can hear everything. You know? So
yeah.
Anyways,
we got thousands of people from all over the world coming in. So it's a pretty exciting weekend.
Right on. Well, go to sweetwater.com if you want the special edition, which I highly recommend, and go to YouTube and type in Grand Designs, the music of Carl Veryheyen, and you'll even hear an interview with my dad.
Which is awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Which is awesome.
Anyway,
very cool.
All right, Mitch.
That's where you find all that stuff, and you definitely
you.
want to check it out because it's all great. And the album is incredible, so congratulations.
Thank you. All right.
Thanks for joining me for the Sweetwater Minute. I'm Mitch Gallagher.